Hello, my name is Robby, and I'm a senior at Abraham Lincoln High School, and I play the trombone in the band there. So, by a show of hands, how many of you in here are in band? Now, how many of you play the trombone? Well, now that's a little sad to see. I hope that I'll be able to convince you to maybe change your mind and pick the trombone. So, imagine something for me real quick. It's the worst sound you've heard in your life. No matter how hard you cover your ears or try to block out the sound, it's just still there. Now that's what it sounds like when an instrument plays out of tune. But with the trombone here, it's a lot easier to play in tune because you have two tuning sides here, which are the main ones. But then you also have the one in your hand, so you can tune on the go. So no matter what, you'll always be in tune. Unlike a trumpet where you have to stop, take time, move it, and then try to play again and see what happens. So, now you may be thinking, but trombone players, they don't play a lot when they are playing. And yes, while that will be true, when we do play, it's amazing. It's like the clouds are parting and the sun is shining through, and it's the big moments in a piece of music. I mean, we get to play all those cool parts where it's just loud and just very great sounding. Now, speaking of sound, a trombone has a very deep, rich sound that you will hear, unlike the high, annoying sound of a trumpet. Now, I guarantee you Zane over here is going to mention DCI at some point in his speech and say that, there aren't really trombone players in there. But that's not true, because one of his favorite shows is called Metamorph, and it had a trombone solo featured in it. Now, I don't know if any of you have had this experience, but in band class, I always remembered having to sit and listen to those trumpet players practice their parts over and over and over. And now I can keep saying over, but I think you all get the point. It's just, trombone players, we usually don't have as hard of music to play, so it's just easier for us to get it down and be ready to play. Now, another thing about trumpet players are those egos that they have. Since they are the leaders in the band, they let it go to their head, and they think that they're the head honcho. But without other instruments like the trombone, they really wouldn't be anywhere. Now, since a lot of you did raise your hand for being in band, you always know that sometimes trumpets have to play some pretty high notes. While trombone players, we don't have to, so we don't have to worry about those chipped or biffed notes while trying to hit all those high notes. We get to stay in a comfortable range, and we're able to, just be that support for the rest of the band. Now, to conclude my section of the speech, I hope that I was able to convince you to either join band and pick up the trombone, or maybe even consider switching. But don't let Zane fool you with all those cool melodies and, just other cool things trumpet players get to do. The trombone is definitely the instrument to pick. Now I'm going to turn it over to Zane so he can talk about the trumpet, but don't let him fool you guys.
All right. Hi guys, my name is Zane Olson. I am a trumpet player from Abraham Lincoln High School, and as you could hear from Robby's speech, I'm here today to convince you to play the trumpet. Now, of the band kids that were here, do we have any trumpet players? Awesome. So you already got more than trombone players. Alrighty. Anyways, so for the people that do not play the trumpet or the trombone, I hope that we can either convince you to play one or the other, or think that, or just figure out which one is cooler, because it's an ongoing debate up at Abraham Lincoln High School band. And I guess so that way when you guys go into high school, you guys know who's going to be the better instrument. Alright, so today I will start off my speech by saying everything that man just said is a complete lie. The trombone is in absolutely no way better than the trumpet. The trumpet is much more fun to play and easier to play. First off, trombone players tend to play too loud all the time. I can't remember one band rehearsal where Robert Hogue has not gone and gotten yelled at by our band director for playing too loud. Every 2 minutes I hear, "Robby, can you please take it down a little bit? You're playing too loud." And it's not only Robby, it's the entire trombone section. So when we're playing chords, Robby and his trombone section will get yelled at all the time. So we have to stop rehearsal and listen to them all the time. Another thing about playing the trumpet is that it's easier to play. Instead of having to move your big slide and use 2 hands, trumpet player, you can play it with 1 hand. See how I can hold it with 1 hand, I can push my buttons. It's fairly easy compared to having the slide and the trombone and get your arm really tired. This can be good if you're playing at graduation when you have to play for the graduation piece for hours on end. My next point would be the roles you get. So the roles as trumpet player are much more important than trombone players. The trombone players play background chords, which can be lame, boring, really overall depressing. While trumpet players get to play the beautiful melody pieces that are in the music. So the trumpet, if you like to think of it as a comparison, the trumpet players actually are the singing voice of a song. Another thing that I got some secret information from the clarinet section, that the trombone players, when they play in music, they rest a lot. As you can see, this is actually one of Robert Gerald Hogue's pieces of music. He rests for 285 measures. Now for all the band kids in here, that must be a really long time. And if you think about it, he's sitting there for about an hour playing music. Half the time he's resting. That doesn't sound very fun to me. All right. So the next thing, did you know that the trombone players, all professional trombone players, if you go and look one up on your phone right now, they tend to be bald. All the professional ones. So if you go and look up like professional trombone player, you'll get a trombone player that's really tall, skinny, but then he's bald. Now I don't know about you, I don't think I would like to be bald when I'm older. I'd like to have a full set growth of hair and look cool on playing my instrument rather than looking bald. So have fun with that in the future, Robbie. All right, and then of course, Robbie said I was going to bring up DCI. If you don't know what DCI is Drum Corps International. It is basically like a professional marching band. And if you don't know what marching band is, it's where you go on the field and you perform at football games or just for competitions. Now, did you know that in Drum Corps International, you get 90% of the solos as a trumpet player, whereas the trombone players get less than 1% of the solos. Robbie brought up my favorite show, Metamorph. Yes, it did have a trombone feature, but did you know that that was the first trombone feature that has occurred in DCI in the past 10 years? Imagine going a whole 10 years without playing a single feature. All right. So now I'm going to turn it over to Robbie for his last statement, and we're going to talk about some, or he's going to say some stuff, I guess.
So yes, while one of them may be cooler than the other, nothing sounds better than when you're able to put two of them together, or even more, and just make beautiful music together.